We're here with Chef Brenner, and we wanted to talk to him about some of the confusion that he's encountered with volume and density in the classroom and some of the his students that make the mistakes.
Very good. Volume and density. Yeah, confused quite a lot, and it's very important. The end of the dish, it's very important to understand the difference because at the end of the day, the final results are going to be very visual, very visible, very easy to detect. If a sauce per se is overstarched, it's going to be very, very thick. It's going to be too starchy. It's not going to have the proper viscosity. It's not going to have the proper flavor, and quite often that starchy flavor is going to come out because too much was added. Obviously, if not enough is added because of the measurement conversion, we're not going to get the proper result we're looking for viscosity-wise as well. What else?
How are those things going to affect maybe cooking techniques or cooking times when we're cooking meats? Perhaps maybe meats that are more dense than other meats.
Okay, meats that are more dense than other meats. That is, that is a big moisture content's a big deal because often we're heating our food up, right? So that the moisture inside can heat up, thusly cooking the food. So, take for example a piece of white flaky fish versus a piece of salmon. Salmon's going to be more dense. It's going to have a higher fat content, and so it's going to cook at a completely different rate, and the consistency, the texture at the end of the process is going to be very different. For example, if you were to overcook a light, flaky piece of fish with less density, it's going to actually separate right between the seams. It's going to come apart. It's going to dry out. It's going to flake apart. It's going to be like sawdust. Whereas a piece of salmon that has a little bit higher fat content, it's going to hold. It's going to give you a little bit more, but the result's going to be a real grainy finish at the end, mouthfeel, real grainy.
Flavors compromised.
Yeah, it's almost like chewing sawdust.
I would have never figured that.
Excellent. Thank you, Chef Brenner. That's the scoop on density and volume. What we have here is an experiment. We're going to find out how salt affects the density of water. We're going to encounter this a lot in your kitchen, so let's find out what happens. What we have here is an experiment, and we're going to find out if the salt water is more dense than the egg. The one on the right has about 1 cup of salt added to the 1 pound of water. The cup on the left is just straight water. We have 2 eggs to drop into the water to find out which one's more dense. Let's see what happens.
The egg will be more dense than the water.
Get out of here, conversion. Get out of here, conversion confusion. Actually,
You should wear that out, right?
as you can see, it doesn't float in the regular water, but in the salt water, it does float. Why is that, do you ask?
Let me tell you, Captain Density. The reason why the egg floats in the salt water is because salt is a desiccant. That means it absorbs the water molecules, making the water more dense than the water without salt. That's why the egg floats. Hi, we're here with Chef F. Scamp, and he's going to talk to us about some issues that he encounters with baking.
Baking is very chemical and very mathematical. You'll find that if you mess up on the chemistry, your products won't rise. If you mess up on the actual scaling or volume, you'll also find that the chemistry is messed up. So the easiest thing to do is if I was to have a restaurant and I was using teaspoons and cups, and you are using teaspoons and cups, the way that I would pack a teaspoon or a cup of flour and the way that you would pack a teaspoon or a cup of flour, they would weigh differently. So when I make a recipe and then we have a restaurant and you've come to eat at my restaurant, you may find that depending on who makes it, it could change without the day. So what we do is we try to scale everything by measurements to make sure that the way that I would scale out 1 pound of flour and then the way that you would scale out 1 pound of flour, they would be the same, which makes my recipe very consistent. So when you come to eat at my place every day, whether I make it or you make it, if we scale everything out correctly, all of our food will taste very close to being the same.
Thank you very much. That's the scoop for baking.
There we go.
These two cups have the same amount of garlic in them. Let's see the difference when I mince this one up. Full clove garlic fills this whole cup. It's about 2 ounces. But when minced, finely minced, it only equals about half the cup. 1 ounce. So, but that's why you have to make sure you know what your recipe calls for.
That's Captain Density approved. These are relatively the same size. What do they weigh the same?
They do weigh the same. They are the same.
No! Get out of here, conversion confusion! I'll take care of that for you, sir. Actually, they won't weigh the same. As you can see, sweet potato at 2 pounds, and the eggplant at 1.3 pounds, and that's because sweet potato is more dense. We hope you can use this in your kitchen someday.
Hope we measured up.
That's Captain Density approved.